Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Thank you for your time as always, and let's talk a bit about Ryan Garcia's comeback win against Emmanuel Tagoe. Garcia, much heralded young fighter. I think he's 23, 24 years old. In against a much older man, Tagoe, I think is 31, 32, something like that. 33, early 30s anyway. Tagoe, unheralded from Ghana. He's from Accra, Ghana. Definitely will not be confused with the great Azuma Nelson. But he came to America and he gave Ryan Garcia a bit of an outing. Garcia won on points, unanimous decision, wide unanimous decision. I think a couple of the judges gave Tagoe 1 or 2 rounds, but it was very, very wide. And as far as Garcia is concerned, this was very much a mixed bag of the good, the bad, and not so much ugly, but just, things you can work on. So he's been off, he's had his mental health issues, he comes back, he's in against a guy who, within 20 seconds, was in survival mode. Garcia went after him. All Tagoe did was spin around the ring, the perimeter of the ring, try not to get hit, and throw in almost nothing back unless he had to. Those keep off me punches. In the second round, Garcia looks. First of all, he looked. I think he's about 2 or 3 inches taller. He looked about a foot taller because Tagoe wasn't just skipping around the ring. His balance was atrocious. He had a very wide stance. Whenever Garcia would get close to him, he'd lose his balance and grab Garcia around the waist, even the thighs or near the knees at time. I mean, he would bend down to the point where he was virtually below Garcia's waist. Garcia, a taller man by about 3 inches, was constantly punching down. And Tagoe was just messing him around. Tagoe wasn't really doing anything of any description certainly for the first 4 or 5 rounds. In the second round, Garcia had Tagoe on the floor. Tagoe said it was a slip. No, it wasn't. It was Garcia unloaded a barrage of punches, and the final punch, which I think was a right to the nose, puts Tagoe over. He said, he pushed me, but no, he didn't. You got knocked down, mate. You got knocked down. So a 10-8 round in the second. But in the middle rounds, Garcia fell into a trap that a lot of fighters fall into when they're faced with someone who just doesn't seem to be trying to win, or someone who just doesn't really seem to want to fight. And that trap is that you can start to think, perhaps even subconsciously it's a thing, I don't know whether it's conscious or subconscious, you can just stop punching. You can start to, in a sense, subconsciously think this is too easy. So you stop punching. Perhaps it's a desire to stop punching so that the guy will throw something at you so that you can engage. Because if a guy's not engaging in a boxing ring, if you want to win, you want to be engaging with the guy. And if a guy is not just isn't doing anything, there can be a trap where you stop, and almost as if you're inviting him to throw something at you so that you can fire something back. The danger of that is that the person who's running, who's in survival mode, their confidence can grow. And sometimes the punches that they do end up throwing can land. And when they land, again, the confidence grows and grows. And suddenly it's a fight. Suddenly you're not totally dominant. The best thing to do if you do have someone in front of you who is just not throwing anything and is in total survival mode, just wants to do the rounds, is to keep pumping the jab. Because at least if you're pumping the jab, you're keeping them in their box, you're keeping them honest. Garcia didn't do that. Garcia stopped throwing punches. So in the middle rounds, Tagoe starts to get a little bit of courage, and he's coming forward in his own swinging, wild way. And he's making, I wouldn't give him more than 1 or 2 rounds, if that. But he's at least slinging some punches and at least getting to the point where, for the first time in the middle rounds, it looked like, yeah, I wouldn't mind winning this. It was that type of thing. And Garcia was slinging punches whenever the guy was close. But like I say, he neglected the jab too much. Garcia has a heavy knockout ratio. I think he's now got 22 wins, 18 knockouts. And the thing about Garcia is that I think he needs to sharpen up his right hand a bit, because when he was working the body, especially the second or third round. He wanted to, working the body was a very good idea, but when Garcia throws the right hand to the body, he tends to sort of swipe with it. And there are a couple of occasions, I don't know if it was the angle I was looking at it, but he actually landed almost the wrist or the forearm to the body, and not the glove. And also when he throws the right, he does tend to swipe. It tends to be a sort of downward chopping motion, which at times can be a bit of a swipe. So I'd like to see, and I'm being ultra critical here, but I'd like to see Garcia sharpen up the right hand, the cross a bit, make it tighter, sharper punch, because his left hand is very good. As far as the groundwork's concerned, I don't think his balance is bad at all, but he did neglect the jab as well. And so anyway, he went 12 rounds. In the 10th round, he caught Tagoe with a very good punch. Again, it was the right hand. I've just criticised his right hand, but the two times he really did hurt Tagoe, putting him on the floor, and in the 10th round he got him into serious trouble, was with the right hand. And Tagoe was hanging on for dear life, end up on the floor, and the ref said it was a slip, which it wasn't. It was a knockdown, certainly a knockdown. And I think Garcia was very hard done by to not have a 10-8 round in that round as well. But it didn't really matter because he ended up, a very wide winner. But yeah, people are going to criticise him. People are going to say, well, this guy took you the distance, and he was only there to go the distance, and he actually made it difficult for you in a couple of the rounds, and you should have got rid of him. And all these criticisms will be levelled at Garcia, but 12 rounds after a long layoff is not a bad thing. In front of a very big crowd, big auditorium. Since at the Alamodrome in San Antonio was where it took place. Big pro Garcia crowd came out to support him, so that's going to big him up as well. And I think it was a good little confidence builder for him. The flaws are there. He's with Joe Goosen now. Joe Goosen is an offensive-minded trainer. He likes his fighters to go forward. He said between rounds, when they interviewed him between rounds, he said we expected Tagoe to run. So it was nothing. So sometimes you learn your lessons the ugly way, And I think this is a good 12-round run around for Garcia. I think he'll probably be a better fighter for it. And also the fact he's gone the distance means some other fighters who might have been a little reluctant to fight him will now want to fight him. I think with Garcia, hopefully the experiences that he's had, both professionally, leaving the Reynoso gym, and the criticism he's had from Canelo and others, and also hooking up with an old, wise veteran trainer who's going to give him a lot of attention. Hopefully this means Garcia will mature. The outside the ring thing, with the depression, anxiety, the mental health issues, that's a very real issue for people who have serious issues, and it can be fatal on occasions. So I think Garcia did the right thing in addressing those, and hopefully he'll be a wiser, more mature young man now. What's next for him? In the post-fight interview, they mentioned Tank Davis, but I'd give him another top 10 fighter, another 10-rounder at least, before I put him in put him in with the elite, So yeah, did you see the fight? What do you think? What do you think of Garcia's performance? He's going to get criticised, but I think long term, it weren't a bad 12 rounds for him. They can look. Him and Goosen are still gelling. They haven't been together for long. They can look back at that fight, identify what went wrong, identify what Garcia did wrong. The jab, not enough jabbing. But they can pick out some good stuff as well. So I think the future's looking okay for Ryan Garcia. What do you think? Leave your comments below if you've got any, of course. And if you could like this video, that would be great. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. It just takes a second to bang that subscribe button. Much appreciated. Thanks for your time as always. And yeah, let me know your thoughts below. Enjoy your Sunday, and much love to all of you. Take care. Bye for now.